Welcome back everyone, Dustin here again, Average Guy Hi-Fi. I've got some big news. I'm not going to make a separate video or anything like that, but actually as I was reviewing this subwoofer, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So the goal for my channel was to hit 1,000 subscribers in a year, and it looks like I hit it just around the 6-month mark. So thank you guys again. It seems this budget-minded home theater stuff and used audio equipment is actually something that resonates. So I really appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the channel. I'm going to continue doing this stuff on my off hours. I'm running around, picked up more speakers a couple days ago. I'm just going to keep it going. So again, the goal is to hit two videos a week, basically, where I'm buying used home audio gear, setting it up in my place, listening to it. Then I'm just giving you guys a brief rundown, not too detailed. I'm not jumping into graphs and all the super specifics of the speakers, just for the average person out there, just to give you guys a little advice, or if you own the subwoofer, or if you own the speakers that I reviewed, hopefully I can kind of steer you in the right direction. So again, thank you very much for the 1,000 subscribers. That's just huge. Made me definitely made me smile when I saw that. So thank you. So I usually try to mix things up. I try to go 2 channel reviews, and I try to do a home theater review, and then I try to do subwoofer reviews. But the subwoofers, the Shu subwoofer that I just reviewed and sold, was taking up so much space with this subwoofer that I need these to be gone so I can put more speakers in my little tiny place here that I'm at. So what I've got sitting right here next to me is a SVS PB10-ISD 10-inch subwoofer. So you guys know the brand SVS. This is going to be one of the earlier models. I think they had been around for about 5 years before this model was produced. And this came out in 2004, just to give you a little bit of an idea. And when SVS came into the scene, I mean, it really made waves. It was literally, it was one of those companies that was just so efficient, and they were just selling directly to the consumers. So they eliminated some of the costs and things like that, and they really were just offering top quality performance for very, very inexpensive. And this one's no different. This subwoofer right here is a 300 watt RMS 10-inch subwoofer. It's a ported design, so I'll just take it off, show you guys the grill. But there's kind of the older SVS style grills. Now some of them, they come with the metal grills and things like that. But what we have right here, it's a ported design, and it has a 10-inch front firing woofer. So I put it on my, it actually has nice rounded corners. I do like that from an aesthetic standpoint. And also it's covered in like a plastic material, so it's very less prone to getting damage and everything like that. So here is the amplifier. It's real simple. Basically, it's about as simple as you can get for a home theater subwoofer amplifier, but it has an input, it has an auto on-off switch, it has the phase control, and then it has the gain control, obviously, and then plus the power button. So real simple amplifier, but it's made by Bash. I've owned probably 50 subwoofers that have Bash amplifiers, and it seems to be a pretty reliable amplifier manufacturer. Now, there's issues out there, but subwoofers, if you've had issues in the past, they tend to be out of all the system equipment, it's like the subwoofer amplifier seems to be the biggest that are prone. But my experience with Bash amplifiers, they make high quality stuff. SVS still uses them in some of their models. Now they have sledge amplifiers, so there's a bunch of different options out there. But just a great amplifier manufacturer, at least my personal experience with them. So this had an MSRP of $429, so it was definitely more of the entry level subwoofers that SVS made at the time. The dimensions are, it's 18 inches tall, it's 15 inches wide, and it's 21 inches deep. So it does take up some space, but not as big as the Shu subwoofer that I just reviewed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on Ready Player One. I know you guys like that movie. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies, with Tron and, you know, all the Overlord, all the other movies that have really great bass impact and everything. So we'll put on the race scene from Ready Player One, and then I'll show you the woofer kind of excursion, and then we'll jump over there and I'll give you guys the Average Guy Hi-Fi score. So then we'll just kind of give you my breakdown and my impressions and all that stuff. So here we go. Let's watch the movie.
Hey. you seeing this?
Yeah, I see it. That's Kaneda's bike from Akira. Some licensed skin over standard frame.
No, not the bike. Forget the bike. The girl. I think it's Artemis.
The Artemis? The sixer fixer?
I've seen all her walkthroughs, her Twitch streams. It's her. It's definitely her.
Hope you guys enjoyed that demo. Again, it was Ready Player One. The sound effects, I put the camera over in the main list, or the microphone over in the main listening position, so you guys would not get drowned out by the bass right up next to it. But now we're just going to jump right into it. So again, this is the Average Guy Hi-Fi scoring section of the video. I'm going to put together some type of a chart, some type of a spreadsheet eventually, but right now I'm just trying to pump out the videos to keep the momentum going. So I've been getting a lot of feedback on that. People want to know where things stack up, and then maybe I could share that with you guys so you could see where all these speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers, all that type of stuff kind of stack up when it comes to my impressions, my score of it. So again, now we're on to the Average Guy Hi-Fi scoring section of the videos, where there's 5 categories. There's quality for subwoofers, there's bass. For the next category is going to be the MSRP pricing, kind of where it's stacked up with the competition. The next category is going to be the aesthetics category, and then the last is my price paid. And then we take it's 1 to 10 each of those categories, 10 being the best, and we average them out and give you guys the Average Guy Hi-Fi score. So we'll just jump right into it. From a quality standpoint, I've owned a ton of SVS subwoofers. I'm a huge fan. They have great quality. They have great customer service. This subwoofer is no exception. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 because the cabinet has that nice kind of plasticky material on there. I know some people don't like that. They prefer to have paint, which kind of the newer models and stuff do. But those on the used market can get damaged pretty easily with people selling them, you putting them in your car, those type of things. So I actually appreciate these plastic wraps that they put on there because they're not indestructible. They could still be scratched, but they're definitely less likely to be scratched than paint. Another reason I like the quality of the subwoofer is just the woofer material. This, again, is a little bit older of a subwoofer, but SVS really spent some time developing the woofer. The surround is nice, thick rubber. The woofer itself feels nice and stout. Obviously, I already mentioned the Bash amplifier. All these type of things add up. 8.5 out of 10 when it comes to quality. Nice, solid quality subwoofer. The bass response, it's definitely down on the Shoe subwoofer that I just reviewed, but that was a 12-inch subwoofer with a much bigger volume box. This one's no slouch when it comes to size, but the Shoe definitely is larger. So I gave it an 8 out of 10 when it comes to the bass response. It was deep. It made things rumble. It had great impact. I really appreciated the impact that the subwoofer added to my room and my system. Compared to like some of the other Velodyne subwoofers and things like that I've been reviewing, this one is definitely, when it comes to bass, it's one of the better ones that I've actually reviewed. Home theater, this thing just kind of knocks it out of the park. I think that kind of that 20 hertz, 30 hertz range, this subwoofer really excels. So it's very fun for movies and video games, things like that. But I think it would do just as fine. I haven't listened to it for music yet, but I think it would do just as well as music as well. But jumping on to the next category, now we go to the MSRP pricing. This subwoofer had an MSRP price of $429 when it came out. I kind of looked at the other numbers around that 2004 timeline with what other subwoofers were stacking up, and this definitely undercut a lot of the big manufacturers, especially like brands like Velodyne, Martin Logan, which I love, Velodyne I love as well too, but comparing what their subwoofer offerings were at the time compared to this subwoofer, this just definitely beat a lot of those, unless you really got up to the expensive subwoofers. Again, this is a $429 subwoofer. Some of those manufacturers during those years had $2,000 subwoofers. So I think that some of them, when you get towards the higher end, would start outpacing this thing. But this is definitely going to put up a fight for the majority of us that are on budgets. This is going to get you really, really close to those top performers for the time. So basically, I gave it a 9 out of 10 when it came to the MSRP rating. I think that that's just they really did something good, and this actually put pressure on the industry, to be honest. When SVS came out, it was kind of like a ground, it was like, oh my goodness, Emotiva, SVS, all those internet direct brands, they really kind of sent shockwaves through the home audio community, and this one was no exception. Very pleased with where it stacked up with the competition. I think if you bought one of these back in the day, it's probably still thumping away, and it was a great purchase. 9 out of 10 when it came to the MSRP. The aesthetics, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I like the looks of this much better than the Shure subwoofer because it basically comes with the grill. I actually like the woofer front firing as well too, but I mainly like it because the cabinet was just a little bit smaller. I think that this one is a little bit easier to tuck next to a couch than the Shure. They're not a huge difference, but when you look at the depth of 2 more inches deep, 2 inches taller on the Shure, it's very noticeable when it's in the room. I should have snapped a picture of them kind of next to each other, but the Shure was definitely a larger of the 2 subwoofers. So the aesthetics, I gave this one an 8 out of 10. When it comes to my price paid, I paid $220 for this subwoofer, and I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. That's still a very good score, but because of some of the deals that I've gotten over the years, and because of the age of this subwoofer, I have to take all that stuff into consideration. So 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to my price paid. Still a very good score, but I've definitely had better deals. If you find something like this on your used market, the thing you have to really worry about at this time would just be the amplifier, being the fact that this is around 16 years old. Amplifiers, home, especially subwoofer amplifiers, just the many I've owned, I've had numerous amplifier problems. So definitely make sure you test it out if you can. I didn't test this out. Actually, the person that I bought this from bought speakers off me, so it was a little bit more comfortable with the transaction and not testing it out. But luckily, when I got it home, it sounded exactly like it should have. 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to the price paid. That averages out to 41 out of 50, which is an 82% average guy HiFi score. This and that Shure subwoofer, to be totally honest, if you had somebody bring this one in and set it in place of that Shure and do the same thing and did like a blind test, they would perform very well if you spent the time to make sure you get it all calibrated into your system. This is going to excel for movies, home theater, or video games, things like that. But if you have larger rooms, there's no way to really get around that. If you have larger rooms, this will probably start running out of steam, I would say, if you're listening to higher levels and it has so much more volume. That's where you go out and get another one, run duals, which is the preferred method anyway. That's actually an upcoming video. I just grabbed 2 more subwoofers that I'm probably going to keep for my system. Just run them as duals when I'm not testing other subwoofers. So you have to stay tuned for that one. But again, I really appreciate the support for the channel, everyone. 1,000 subscribers, just the thought of 1,000 people out there subscribing to my channel. And the cool thing is it's for people all over the world. You know, anybody that wants to save a little bit of money, if you got friends out there that are thinking about dipping their toe into the hobby, but you know that they don't have a lot of extra money or cash, send them my direction. Hopefully I can give them some pointers. People are texting me, people are messaging me, asking advice, things like that. I'm no audio engineer. I'm no expert, I would say, but I have owned hundreds of pairs of speakers, hundreds of subwoofers at this point in time, and I have that's why I want to share with you my thoughts on things, just because of all the different speakers I've owned and everything. And also I noticed that the people on the forums can be rather rude, and that's not my attitude. This is want you to come along with this journey, see what I'm buying next. That's why a lot of people tell me they subscribe, because they just want to see what next deals. And trust me, the last week and a half, I've got some really, really good gear. I'm just sitting here enjoying it, smiling ear to ear at nights when I'm reading up on speakers, doing my videos and everything. So stay tuned, because I got some fun content coming up for you guys. Thanks again. Again, my name is Dustin. The name of the channel is Average Guy HiFi. Thank you guys for sticking around, and thank you very much for subscribing.